Hi everyone, welcome back to No Borders English Studio, the place where English has no borders. No matter where you're from, how old you are, or how long you've studied, this language belongs to you too. I'm Tara. I'm an English teacher teaching ESL students for a very long time, both online and in the classroom. And before we start today, here is your listening comprehension question. Hold on to it. I'll ask you again at the very end of the podcast. And if you got it right, tell me in the comments. So here is your question. According to Amy Cuddy, how many minutes of power posing can measurably change your hormone levels? Got it? Good. Keep that one in mind and let's get into it. Today, the TED Talk we're discussing is by Amy Cuddy, a social psychologist, and the episode is called Your Body Language May Shape Who You Are. It's another highly viewed and highly rated TED Talk, and it's about something we don't always think about when we're learning a language. Not just what we say, but how we stand, how we sit, how we take up space in a room. I have 12 vocabulary words and phrases for you today that we're going to look at closely, and here's our first word. Nonverbal. Nonverbal. This means communication without words. It's your posture, it's your face, your facial expressions, your gestures with your hands or arms. Cuddy's whole talk is about nonverbal communication. Now, Cuddy starts by describing how animals and humans both display power through their bodies. When someone feels confident, they tend to open up. Their arms are wide, their chest is up, they take up space. When someone feels powerless, they do the opposite. We have an expression here that I'm going to use that we actually saw last week, but I wanted to include it here again because it's important to this discussion. And it also has a slightly different meaning than it did in the context of last week's podcast. So if you remember it from last week, that's amazing. And if not, that's totally okay because here it is again. The expression is to shrink. To shrink. This doesn't just mean to get physically smaller. If you remember from last week's podcast, it actually meant it was about Tim Ferriss's TED Talk, and he said that he felt like he wanted to shrink, like he wanted to disappear. He didn't want to be seen, just to hide into the background. It's the same thing here as well. However, it also is speaking about making yourself become physically smaller. So, in this context, to shrink means to make yourself look small on purpose, often without realizing it, because you feel nervous or unimportant. So, think about it. When you're nervous speaking English in front of people, do you physically shrink? Your arms might cross, your shoulders fold in, sort of making your body appear physically smaller. Now, Cuddy calls the big open poses power poses. It's standing like a superhero, your hands on your hips, feet apart, strong stance. And here's the fascinating part. She and her team ran an experiment. You know how I love an experiment. If you've been listening to these podcasts, you know I love an experiment. People held a power pose for just a couple minutes before a stressful situation, like a job interview. the results showed a change in two hormones. So the power pose we're talking about is standing with our hands on our hips and our feet slightly apart, like a superhero. Okay? The results of this experiment showed a change in two hormones: testosterone, which is linked to confidence and dominance. This hormone went up in this people's system. Cortisol, a hormone that's linked to stress, this hormone went down, it decreased. So the pose didn't just make people look more confident. Cuddy argued it could actually change how they felt on a hormonal level.